Applause from the audience as Mayhem leads the way, the first out to pull the 667-pound Big Bob sled. 13:12 is the current time to beat. See how big the jump is from heat 3 to heat 4. And Mayhem is a full 2 minutes ahead of that pace right now as they go to their final Big Bob sled pull. The closest thing to a villain in CrossFit is what you're looking at right there, but it's almost like the late 90s Yankees. They're just so good, you want to hate them, but you have to respect them. Underway here for event 5 at North Park. You know, it was funny, we talked to Andrea Nisler this week. Taylor Williamson climbing ropes here with Chase Hill, so Nisler will be down with Rich Froning on the SkiErg, and Andrea Nisler's first year competing on this Mayhem team, and she said, I had to think about it at first, because I've been a team athlete for all these years, and was like, do I want to go join the dark side? Yeah, she did, and she's having the best performance in team history.
What's so exciting about them is, you know, like, even to stamp the way that they did yesterday, wrapping up that event, you know, Pro One right there next to them. I just feel like it was even this statement of like, yeah, no, I didn't hold on. We didn't hold on for all 7 reps, but we are this time and we can, and expect to see that. Like, that's what Pro One needs to know. Expect that from them. Don't expect them to keep the game plan. They're expecting to win. They're going to do everything they can. So that needs to be in the back of Pro One's head, just to know you can't guarantee. Don't bank on anything they've done in earlier rounds.
Two of CrossFit's greatest athletes, Josh Bridges and Jacob Heppner, face each other in the ring on September 18th in Jacksonville, Florida. Get your tickets now at https:/coresports.world and get ready for an electric night of combat. Still can't believe that's a thing, and I am so here for it. CrossFit Mayhem in first place here. The Urban Energy team from Australia. Of course, Caitlin Van Zyl, a former individual games athlete, headlines that unit. They are in second. Resurrection right now in third.
Aggressive pulls there on the SkiErg. And they need to, because there's a lot of fast rope climbs here from Rich and Andrea.
Applause from the audience as Mayhem leads the way, the first out to pull the 667-pound Big Bob sled.
Behind them, CrossFit Urban Energy in lane 7 and CrossFit Resurrection in lane 10.
Urban Energy is out to pull the sled now as well. But you can see the distance that Rich Froning and Andrea Nisler have here on the rest of the field, pulling hand over hand.
And the key is to get that finish in the pull. Really making sure it crosses the line. Now watch, I'm anxious to see what they do here, because I expect to see them pull a pretty strong pull across, not just a little bit, but really making sure they get as much of it, the nose across as possible. They can't keep pulling, but your final pull, you want to make it worthwhile, so when you go back, it's already across that line as much as it can be.
And those little things, I would wager a guess that we won't see that last pull where Taylor Williamson and Chase Hill have to switch on again on the next pull. I would imagine Rich Froning probably calculates in his mind now, all right, this is what we need to do to make sure we don't need that extra little tug to save a couple of transition seconds.
He's always calculating, he's always adjusting. That's what it seems to be, and when they go back out there, yeah, I think we're gonna see the difference. How far do they pull across the line? Where's their rope as opposed to everyone else's?
Pro One Montreal on the rope climbs here.
Really, the speed of this entire event is important for Pro One Montreal, and if we have any slowing or any athlete that's a little slower on this rope, we're gonna see it. So just making sure we can keep that tempo up, that no one's waiting, is what Pro One needs to do to stay right there with Mayhem and company.
Dominic Trepanier is on the left. Manon Lesour is on the right. Of course, you know the name Chloe Govan-David. She is on the SkiErg on the right now. So we take you back to Mayhem with Chase Hill right in front of you on the SkiErg.
That was an incredible time to watch.
His first year competing on this Mayhem squad.
I love the synchronization even in the descent. It doesn't have to be, but there's just something about being in tempo and being in sync through the movements that it's just when you've worked together so much and you know the timing of everyone. And these are the pairs I expect to see, you know, most of the time. Typically, when you are training, you work together.
How about Andrea Nisler is smoking Rich Froning on these rope climbs?
Forgot for a minute. You're on the same team.
Round 2 for all
Oh, that's
of our
right.
top 10
No,
teams
you know,
here.
and that's
That was the funniest thing about Andrea Nisler joining the team is when she was initially asked, and actually when Rich was initially asked, Taylor Williamson brought up Andrea Nisler's name to Rich, said, what if we tried to ask her to join when they needed a new female? And Rich said, I don't think she likes me because they've been competitors for so long, and Andrea Nisler likes to compete and kind of gives off that I'm here to beat you mentality, but it's why she works so well here.
all right. So let's see here. If we make any adjustments, planning in Chase using that full length, getting all that, the height that he can. I like the way they wait. They make sure there's tension on the rope before they initiate the pull.
For more, let's go down to Amanda Krenz.
Joel and Tanya, synchronization is not a requirement for the Big Bob pull, but what these teams have figured out is that if they are synchronized, they are obviously pulling more efficiently. But what I've seen down on the field here is that some teams don't have that figured out right off the bat. And so there's a learning curve involved. And not a surprise, these teams who come out at this level of competition onto this floor and experience a learning curve are losing precious ground.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing right there. What Rich learned and what he did, if you watch, he did a couple little stutter steps on that final pull just to get the final Yankee. It wasn't good enough, but I bet you he's going back and telling Chase, that's what you need to do on your end when you are at the rope first so that we can get that through, because that one less transition, if they can do that in this third round, no other team has, that would be huge.
It was funny, we talked about whether or not they would need that one extra switch at the end. They did, Mayhem did on that last Big Bob pull, but by less than they did the first time.
Their speed in which they learn and adjust, that's what's so impressive. That's when it's just so fun to watch that. It makes me want to get back out there. It makes you want to get on a team and do the same thing. It's like when the well-oiled machine is like, no, it's not, but you want to. It's fun when a team clicks, when you work together and you can just dominate like that.
6'4" Army Gold plus 6'4" CrossFit, currently in second place. The motion team from Surbiton is in third.
Rope to the ski to the rope. 3 rope times remain now for Mayhem for round 3.
Visit kalo.com/CrossFit and use the code CrossFit20 to get 20% off of your order today. There's just such an ease watching Rich Froning climb rope. Just watch the way it's a true, he locks his feet and stands. It's not an upper body pull for Rich Froning. He stands up on that rope and he's doing it the way you want to do it.
Efficiency's the name of the game. Got that dialed in for sure.
Just waiting for the SkiErg to finish. Here we go on the Big Bob.
All right, anxious to see what Chase is going to do here. If he's going to do what Rich did on his last pull.
13:12 is the time to beat. This is the end of the third round here for Mayhem.
We did have a little bit of a foot step, little step there to get all they could.
You can see the way that Chase Hill pulled up on it. Try to drag any extra inch you can. And I think the third time's the charm here, Tanya. They're going to get this across without having to switch back. Yep.
They did it. Check that. Now, the only thing they didn't do was straighten out the rope. So every other round, they had the rope fully extended. Shouldn't be an issue. They run right back out and get that. And because it's going to be the final round, I don't think that's going to be an issue at all.
And now watch at the bottom of your screen. That extra third additional pull was needed in lane number 8 for the 6'4" Army Gold. It's those little things.
They have one rope climb in. As we approach 9 minutes and 25 seconds on the clock. And a 17-minute time cap in place.
Tanya, I think what's most impressive about what we've seen from Mayhem so far, best start in the history of a CrossFit Games, first team to win all 400 points possible after the first 4 events. If you compare this team to the last CrossFit Mayhem team, the one that competed in sanctionals last year or at the Games in 2019, there is one consistent. It's Rich Froning. Nobody else was on the team. So everything changes, but it all still stays the same, and there's so much that goes into that. Andrea Nisler says that people have this misconception that it's like this concierge service when you're on Mayhem. You're a pro athlete. No, no, no. We still have to do all the work, and a lot of work went into getting them to this level.
And that's what it is. It's all the work he's always put in. It's all the work they've put in. The teams he's brought, he's always they're so impressive to watch, but it's impressive what goes on in his head and in their heads, what they all bring to the table. But man, how Rich leads and the way they adapt, they bring out the details that, you know, when you're programming an event and you're seeing things, you're like, oh yeah, there's something else to think about. If anybody's going to think about it, it's going to be them.
The initial time to beat was 14:19 after the first heat. Then it was 13:54. Then it was 13:12. Those have been the winning times in each of the previous 3 heats. 13:12 is the current time to beat. See how big the jump is from heat 3 to heat 4. And Mayhem is a full 2 minutes ahead of that pace right now as they go to their final big bob sled pull.
All right, and this is it. Final sled pull.
This is the final pull of Bob down the field for our leader.
Starts with Taylor Williamson and Chase Hill.
They are definitely on pace to take the event win here.
Mayhem is the only team on the big bob. Then I'll be joined by CrossFit Surbiton. Excuse me, 6'4" Army Gold will join them. But for Mayhem, in just over 12 minutes time, in a 17-minute time-capped event, Williamson and Hill with one more slight pull, cross the line, 5 for 5. The chase for perfection lives as we start day 2 in Madison.
A lot of firsts. They're the first team to actually around 3 getting in just 2 section pulls. They did need to go back to it there